4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Record.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
A classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca. Do you ever feel like you need a vacation? Do you feel like you just need a break from life's routines? Of course, everyone feels that way sometimes. Well, we're continuing our story from yesterday with Robert and Jack. They're talking about their vacations. Today's lesson is called I Need a Vacation. And here are a few words and phrases that we want to talk about today. First, nightmare. What does that mean? You're going to find out. And of course, time is money. Friends, open up your magazines to today's lesson. I Need a Vacation. And let's begin.
I need a vacation.
Vacations are fun, but being in debt is terrible.
Being in debt doesn't have to be a nightmare. You just need to have a plan for paying it off.
Of course, but you have to pay a high interest rate for using your credit card. Your vacation will end up being even more expensive.
Well, I still have a budget. As long as my monthly payments are manageable, I can have a great vacation. And I don't have to drain my bank account.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 今天的第一个重点，我们看 manageable 这个形容词。我们看到这个字里面有 manage 处理这个动词，所以 manageable 就是指可以应付的，能够处理的。例如 Matt and Kelly are young and healthy, so taking care of 3 kids at the same time is manageable for them. Matt 和 Kelly 还年轻健壮，所以同时照顾3个孩子，他们是可以应付得来的。或者是 dividing this project into different sections will make it more manageable. 把这个案子分成几个不同的部分，会让这个案子比较容易执行。它的反义字就是字首加上 un 变成 unmanageable。例如 unmanageable hair 就是指难整理的头发。接下来我们看的是 drain 这个动词 drain 在这里是指减少、消耗或者是耗尽。例如 the lawsuit went on for years and drained energy and money from both sides。这场诉讼打了好几年，把双方的精力跟金钱都耗尽了。或者是 constant conflict drained the couple's love for one another。这对夫妻经常的争执，让他们彼此的爱消耗殆尽。Drain 也可以指排出或排放液体，例如 drain the cabbage leaves thoroughly before stir frying。包心菜叶要炒之前要完全的沥干。
Alrighty, everyone likes vacation. Everyone needs a vacation. But you know, Gabe, like I was telling you yesterday, I do enjoy vacations that are very relaxing, where there aren't a lot of people, and I don't think you necessarily have to spend a lot of money in order to have a good vacation.
Yeah, unless you're going halfway around the world or something where you need to fly somewhere, especially somewhere really popular, right?
Right. I guess it just depends on what kind of vacation you're looking for. But you know, I also have this other philosophy that if you are going to go on vacation, you should go on vacation and not be afraid to spend money.
Okay.
Because I've been on many vacations growing up where we would go to a place and then we were never allowed to do anything or spend money.
Yeah, you make a good point. You know, vacations are the time when maybe you can make an exception from your original or usual budget, right? You can spend a little bit more. And just like that guy was doing in the picture, you can take a lot of selfies. Make sure you're having fun. That's the main point when you go on vacation. Well, Robert says vacations are fun, but being in debt is terrible.
Right, and Jack says being in debt doesn't have to be a nightmare. Before we continue with this thought, let's talk about the word nightmare. Now, oftentimes when I hear the word nightmare, I think of a bad dream that I have in the middle of in the night. But in our lesson, it just means an extremely unpleasant event or situation or experience that you have.
Well, this makes me think of recent trips with my family. I have to say, I have a very cute son. He's very young, but he likes to cry a lot in the car. And some people might say it's a nightmare. Actually, speaking of that, you know, traveling with small kids in an airplane, a lot of people are afraid of sitting in an airplane next to a family with a baby because that baby might be crying a lot and they might think, oh, that flight was a nightmare.
Ooh, right. Some people might not really enjoy sitting next to a family with kids. Well, back to this word nightmare. Being in debt doesn't have to be a nightmare. You just need to have a plan for paying it off. I do think at this moment Jack is making a good point.
Yes.
You know, if you have a plan or if you have a budget as to how, you're going to pay off this debt, it might not be a big deal.
Right. Like Rebecca, like you said yesterday, I think as long as you know you have the money to pay for something, then you can use your credit card, right? So Robert says, of course, but you have to pay a high interest rate for using your credit card. I need to, I guess, research to find out more about that idea. I thought that as long as you paid the credit card off within a month or within a certain period of time, there is no interest rate.
Right. That's what I thought as well. But speaking of interest rate, what is that? The interest rate is the interest percentage that a bank or financial company charges you when you borrow money. And usually, like Gabe mentioned, I thought that you were charged a high interest rate if you didn't pay by the deadline or the due date.
Exactly. But of course, banks will have an interest rate on a lot of things, right? Here we're talking about a high interest rate. Of course, the opposite is a low interest rate. It's always great if you can join a bank or have a credit card that has a low interest rate. You don't have to pay that much over time. Now, a related phrase is grace period, because banks often will also give you a grace period. That is a certain amount of time, like a month, for example, where you might have time to pay off your bill, and then you won't have an interest rate to worry about.
But on the other hand, if you don't pay off your debt, that grace period, once it's over, banks can tend to not show much grace. So you'll have to be very careful. Anyway, Jack says, well, I still have a budget. As long as my monthly payments are manageable, I can have a great vacation. I still think that Jack and Robert, they just have different ideas of what a great vacation is.
Yeah, one of them just doesn't want to have the idea of paying off a debt on his mind while he's trying to have fun. The other doesn't seem to care. But you see this phrase here, as long as something. What does that mean?
Well, you can use this phrase to say that one thing can happen if something else also happens.
So, for example, you can go out with your friends tonight as long as you do your homework first. You can go out with your friends as long as you're back by 10 o'clock.
And as long as my monthly payments are manageable, I can have a great vacation. And I don't have to drain my bank account. And the idea here is that if you drain your bank account, you're spending all the money in your bank account.
That's exactly right. Well, friends, we've learned a lot of great phrases here in this section: nightmare, interest rate, as long as, and we see that word to drain your bank account. Now, there's a related phrase, to break the bank.
How do you break the bank?
Well, it sounds like a pretty violent thing to do, but I think we have more to learn about this phrase in
the Info Cloud.
Hello and welcome to Info Cloud. Have you ever wanted to buy something but you didn't exactly have the money to pay for it?
Then you could say that you had to break the bank to get what you wanted. That means that you had to spend more money than you had available.
But many times when we use this expression, we will use it in the negative, meaning that something isn't as costly as it might seem.
I really like that laptops are becoming less expensive and more powerful. Now you don't have to break the bank to get a good computer.
Or going out to a nice restaurant every once in a while will hardly break the bank.
You will notice that in both of those examples, we use the expression to mean that it's okay to spend money on a new computer or going out to eat.
This way of using break the bank is more common than saying you can't do something because it will cost too much money.
这是一句在美国常听到的惯用语 break the bank。它不是把银行砸烂，而是花很多钱的意思，甚至超过你银行里的钱。但通常这个用语是用在否定句，来表示某样东西其实不会花你这么多钱。例如 It only cost $20. That's not going to break the bank. 或是说现在电脑越来越便宜了，很多人都买得起了。You don't have to break the bank to buy a computer. 你不需要花大钱来买一台电脑。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom. We are in the middle of a very intense conversation between Robert and Jack. Now, both Robert and Jack want a vacation. They need a vacation, but they have a different idea as to how they should pay for their vacation. As you know, Jack thinks it's okay to use his credit card. Who cares, he says, as long as I can pay it off eventually. Robert, on the other hand, doesn't want to use a credit card. What do you all think? Well, before you answer that question, continue to think about that question as we continue with our lesson.
I need a vacation.
I would much rather pay for my vacation with the money I've saved.
But your time is valuable too. I'm flying to Florida and boarding the ship the same day. I'd rather spend my time enjoying my vacation, not sitting in a car.
I don't mind the drive. I can listen to audiobooks and enjoy the change of scenery.
That doesn't sound like fun. I'm sticking to my plan and paying off my vacation over the next few months.
You do that. I'm going to have peace of mind by vacationing debt-free.
OK， 继续我们看 audiobook 这个名词 ，audio 是指声音的、录音的或者是听力的，所以 audiobook 是指有声读物或者是有声书。例如 ，Diane plays audiobooks for her kids before bedtime to calm them down。 Diane 在孩子们睡觉前会播放有声书给他们听，让他们可以平静下来。或者是 I downloaded this audiobook before my trip so I can listen to it during my flight. 我旅行前先下载了这本有声书，让我在飞机上可以听。如果是电子书的话，就叫做 electronic book, electronic, 或者叫做 e-book。最后我们看的是 scenery 这个不可数名词。scenery 是指风景或景色，例如 The calendar features the scenery of Lake Louise in the Rocky Mountains. 这本月历是以落基山脉的路易斯湖的风景为主题，或者是 The beautiful and unspoiled scenery of the island attracts lots of tourists each year. 这个岛屿美丽未遭破坏的风景，每年都会吸引许多游客来旅游。如果要去掉字尾的 ry, scene 就变成了情景或场景，是一个可数名词。例如 It was an emotional scene when the returning soldiers met their families. 返乡的士兵与家人重逢的场景非常的动人。And now let's get back to our teachers.
So Robert responds to Jack by saying, I would much rather pay for my vacation with the money I've saved. So once again, he's making the point he doesn't want to use a credit card.
Right. Jack says, but your time is valuable too. Now, before we continue on with the rest of Jack's line, this reminds me of the phrase, time is money. Have you ever used that phrase, Rebecca?
Yes, and it's a great phrase. Time is money. This just means that your time is precious. Your time is valuable and is equal to money, really.
And it's actually not a bad way to think about life. Not that money is the most important thing, but time is very valuable, just like money is, okay? So for example, maybe you're at work, you have a lot of things to do, and you could say, I know we have to have a meeting, but guys, let's keep this meeting short because time is money.
And Jack could really say that. Time is money. Your time is valuable too, is what he's saying. He says, I'm flying to Florida and boarding the ship the same day. I'd rather spend my time enjoying my vacation, not sitting in a car. But I do think that sitting in a car can be good because maybe you're spending time with the people that you're driving with.
And I think that's part of Robert's point here in his next line. I don't mind the drive. I can listen to audiobooks and enjoy the change of scenery. So the point is, driving in a car can be enjoyable in and of itself. And it is nice to get a change of scenery.
And that's a good phrase to talk about, a change of scenery. This just means a new situation.
Yeah, so it could talk about a new situation that you're in life, or maybe even actually seeing something different around and behind you and all around you. I think he wants a change of scenery. Rebecca, this reminds me of every once in a while at Studio Classroom, we go out somewhere else.
Right.
Right, and we film in a different city.
Yes. So we kind of get a change of scenery.
It's so great. Like when we went to Taidong and Hualien, it was nice just filming out next to the ocean. It was a great change of scenery.
Very refreshing. And Jack says, that doesn't sound like fun. I'm sticking to my plan and paying off my vacation over the next few months. And Robert says, you do that. I'm going to have peace of mind by vacationing debt-free. And there's a few things we need to talk about, starting with you do that. Use this phrase when you want to tell someone to go ahead and do something probably because they already made up their mind that that is what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and I often use this phrase when I know somebody is going to do something, but I'm probably not going to do that. So, for example, Rebecca, I'm going to go and get some coffee.
You do that, just not right now.
Yeah, right. Because I know Rebecca doesn't like coffee. Of course, I can do that, but she probably won't. I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock for a hike. Oh, wow. You do that. I'm going to sleep in.
Great examples. Well, let's take a look at the phrase peace of mind. If someone has peace of mind, this just means that they're in a state of feeling calm and peaceful and not worried about anything.
You know, speaking of traveling, my dad always asks for our itinerary. Whenever I go traveling somewhere, he wants to know what our flights are, when they are, when we're going to arrive places, just for his peace of mind, just so he knows where his kids are.
And I think that's really nice of your father to do that.
Yeah.
Well, right now, we're going to give you all just kind of a peace of mind.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we're going to go to the
SC Challenge.
Hey everyone, welcome to the SC Challenge. Well, let's go ahead and meet our very brave players. Over here we have...
Hi everyone, I'm David and I'm glad to be back.
And I'm Jordan. I had such a great time winning the last SC Challenge that I thought I'd try again today.
Well, today's SC Challenge is a little different. We're going to be doing a panel discussion.
Wait a minute, Rebecca. Does that mean I have a chance to win?
No, there are no winners today, but you have a chance to share your thoughts on a few questions. Well, speaking of questions, I'll go ahead and give you the first question. Today's lesson is about the need to take a vacation. So, my question for you is, where would you like to take a vacation next and why?
Whew. That's a tough question. I guess I'd like to go to Vietnam.
Oh, okay. And why would you like to go to Vietnam?
Well, I think it has some very interesting things to do. There are a lot of famous places to see, and the food is famous, and the culture's very interesting too.
Nice answer. Well, I hope you go someday, Jordan. And David, my question for you is, where was the last place you had a vacation?
Let me see. Last Christmas, my family and I went to Hokkaido.
Oh, fun. And what did you do there?
We saw a lot of animals like penguins, and we also skied.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Now, of course, whenever you go on vacation, you need to pay for your vacation. So, Jordan, how do you prefer to pay for traveling?
Well, Rebecca, I was planning to pay for my next trip with all of my winnings from SC Challenge. But since we're not competing today, I guess I'll have to use my credit cards.
Oh, credit cards. Speaking of credit cards, David, do you freely use your credit card?
I don't use it too often because if you don't be careful, it can pile up easily and you'll be easily in debt.
Oh, and then you'll have to pay off that debt.
That's right.
And it can be very difficult, right? Well, gentlemen, those were some great answers. I do hope you get to go on your dream vacation, Jordan. And friends, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Okay, so Rebecca, who do you agree with here? Jack, who is okay borrowing money from a bank, or Robert, who wants to go on a road trip?
Well, I think that both characters make really good points. And I think it really depends on what season of life I am in. Right now, I probably would prefer not to borrow money from the bank and maybe take a road trip.
Yeah, but maybe in the future it would be okay, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, friends, thank you so much for joining us here today. Maybe you can talk about who you agree with more, and we'll see you next time right here on
Studio Classroom.
A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.